Hey, good evening, gentlemen. Welcome to the Danvers Zoning Board of Appeals. I'd ask that you turn off your cell phones or silent them so we were not interrupted. We have a very light agenda tonight, pre-holiday, our last meeting of the year. I would like to start by introducing our board members. Down to my right is Becky Kilborn. Our clerk tonight is Ken Scholes. Myself, John Bowner, as the chairman. Ken Jarvinen to my left. And our two alternates is Corrine Doherty and Katie Hislop. And Katie, I will ask you to vote on tonight's case in place of Jeff Sauer, who's not present. I'm sorry, and from our planning staff is Georgia Pendergast. Do we have anyone online joining us?
Just the applicant owner tonight, Matt.
Okay, one of the applicant himself. Okay. I'm gonna, if I could indulge you folks for a moment, and our audience at home. Tonight is our last meeting of Becky Kilborn's, and Becky's been with us for 15 years, and as you all know, we are a volunteer board, and I know I speak for the rest of the board when I say, you know, your service to us has been great. It's been great to the town. I know Becky's very active in the not only the business community, but Rotary and lots of things. And she's going to go off and really enjoy her free time. And we have a little gift and a card here for you. And Becky, I just want to say thank you very much.
Thank you, Becky.
Thank you all. Congratulations, thank you.
Would you like to say a couple of words?
It's been a pleasure and fun and interesting every single meeting, and it's been great the way that we all work together. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
And it's been very, you know, we're lucky, the town is lucky, and this board's been very lucky to have you. I know I certainly will miss you kicking me under the table and also giving me advice. And Becky was one of the first people I met when I came on the zoning board. So again, very grateful to have all your time. And with that said, I will move along. I've got to preside over two of those now, with Bob Signetti retiring and now Becky. So anyway, we have minutes, folks, from two different meetings. I believe the date of those meetings were October 17th. And November 14th, thank you. You are all in receipt of those minutes. Do I have any further discussion on those minutes? None? Could I get a motion to accept those minutes?
So
moved.
And a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. And Mr. Nolan, I know you're a former zoning board member, so I won't bother to go through our procedure. I think you understand. We'll look for you guys to present your case to us, and our clerk will read it in, and we'll ask some questions. And there is no public here, so we'll go right into deliberation. So with that said, Ken, if you could get us started.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Our first and only case is 20 Poplar Street, zoned R2. Request for a special permit in accordance with Section 30.2.d of the Danvers Zoning Bylaw to allow the conversion of a single-family dwelling to a two-family dwelling. Request is made by Matthew Keene, docket number 22-5002.
Hi, good evening. I just want to say I have a cold, so I'm going to keep the mask on. Can you guys hear me fine?
Thank you. We can.
For the record, my name is Bill Nolan from Savoy Nolan Architect. I'm here representing Matt Keene, the owner of 20 Poplar Street. He's with us today online, and I'll try to keep this brief. So the reason why we're before you is we're looking to convert an existing single-family at 20 Poplar Street into a dwelling conversion to a two-family. The existing house, this is the site plan right here. This is the existing house.
Bill, if you could just take the mic with you so they can still hear at home.
Yep. So the existing main house stretches back to here. This is a single-story piece. This is a 2.5-story dwelling, and then this is an existing garage. The the house dates early 1900s, so it's an old house. And it's in a good state of disrepair. I don't know all of the history on it, but I know Matt bought it from a group that was started a rehabilitation, didn't make it through that, and kind of just left it in a state of, it's gutted inside pretty much. And if you've driven by it, you can see the overgrowth in the yard. So Matt's trying to do a good job on this. He wants to restore the, the look of the existing house, clean up the yard. But it's a massive house. It's too much house for I think most families nowadays. So we feel like this is a good candidate for the dwelling conversion, splitting it up into two. Also giving the area in Danvers on Poplar Street, there are several multifamily properties within the vicinity on this area, Poplar Street. If we can go to the next slide. So this is just the existing house. So you can see this is the 2 levels. This is like a mudroom, breezeway area, and this is a garage that's in need of some TLC. I'll go fast through the plans. Second floor, you can keep going. And the attic level. So you can see it's a lot of house, especially for one person. I don't know if you can rotate these, or are we gonna kink our neck?
We can tilt ahead, there we go.
Yeah. So it's a nice looking house. This is the view from Poplar Street. It's a nice looking house. It's hard to see now with all the overgrowth, but the intent is to restore it, bring it back to its kind of former glory. So we're not proposing really any changes from the front. We are proposing, you can see here, this is that 1-story piece. You can see that it's in a pretty good state of disrepair. So what we're looking to do here is the owner doesn't like the fact that this is so low. So we are proposing to add some square footage over the top of here. That's going to be for the second unit, the top unit, which is going to be Matt's. Matt's going to live here and rent the lower unit, and we can get into the proposed. If you could go on to the next slide. Just some more existing pictures. This is that area. Oh, that's okay. This is that area, back side of that area, that single-story place that we're looking to add some square footage to. Okay, so here are the proposed plans. I'm going to jump to these because I just, going through that, I realized it would have been better to color the units so you could definitely see which are what's unit 1 and what is unit 2. So unit 1 is highlighted in the yellow. So if you want, I can also show it to you up here. This is kind of the line where all this is unit 1, and it's pretty much the existing house. It's gutted right now. We are looking to change a couple of the things. The kitchen's going to be relocated in here, and there's some bathrooms that are actually already built. We're going to maintain them. We're going to put the dividing line here, and this is going to be the entrance for the new unit, hopefully. This will be Matt's unit. And the intention is to, at some point, convert this garage, put the doors on this side, and it'll be a 3-car garage for Matt. But we're going to take it in phases. Next slide, please. So up on the second floor, there were 4 rooms to the original house. We're annexing 1 room for the second floor so that we can use this existing stair to get up to the attic, which is going to be Matt's main bedroom level. But you come up the new stair that we're creating into an open living area, kitchen, dining. This is going to be converted to like a guest room. And then these are the stairs to get up into the attic. The existing bedrooms on the former house are going to stay. And there's a beautiful semicircle staircase that they're going to use to get up there. And then lastly, the top unit is all of the second unit's square footage. So this would be Matt's space. That's that stair. It's actually an existing stair. This all presently exists right now. It's just open to studs right now, so none of it's finished. The only thing that's going to be new is this area back in here, which is just going to be basically his basement, or his attic, I should say. It's probably more appropriate. So as you can see, taking the foliage down, so mostly landscaping here, but the front is going to stay pretty much the same as it is now, obviously fixing the areas that need fixing. So you won't really be able to see any of the additions that we're proposing, I guess, save for this deck on the side, but you probably aren't going to be able to even see that from the street. So this is the area here that we're proposing to add. Everything else is pretty much the same. The garage, we haven't put the doors in the garage because that's actually going to be a phase 2. We're gonna do this first, and then we're gonna rehab the garage. So this is the area back here that we're talking about, and then the new 2-story deck. That's an exclusive use for Matt's second unit, the upper level unit. This is the Poplar Streets here. So this is the driveway's on the other side. So this is kind of the back of the house, back side of the house. This is all the original building. This is an existing sunroom that we're putting new fenestration throughout, but the openings are there. We're not really changing any of the forms. And this is the new piece right here with the 2-tier deck. And so this is the driveway side. Poplar Street's here. This is the front. None of this changes. There's an entry here, second entrance for the lower unit. This is the garage in the back. Doesn't look quite as nice as this, but and this will be the new entrance into Matt's place. It's hidden behind here. And just a couple more views. I think we can cycle through these. Is that it? Okay. So I think that's the extent of the presentation. I'm sure you have some questions. I'd be happy to answer those.
Thanks, Mr. Nolan. Before I turn it over to the board, I just have a couple of things. Can you tell me when Mr. Keene purchased this property? I
The deeds
think
are
I'm
in there.
seeing 2018. Does that sound right?
Yeah, actually, I'm not quite sure. Matt, are you? Can you answer that question? When you bought the property?
Sure. Yeah, it was not 2000. It was 2000, right before COVID, 2019. I believe around 2019, like in maybe March or something like that. And then it just, a lot of things happened, between COVID. My father passed away. I had a lot of things go on, so it's kind of overwhelming, this whole thing. So, I eventually kind of just went to, Bill and got it going.
So you've owned it over 3 years, sounds like, or around that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll save my other questions to the rest of the board ask, but I just want to go out to Georgia. This won't go to planning, correct?
No, it does not
Special
need to go.
permit only. So zoning board members, we will act as everything here for this special permit. So with that said, I will turn it over to you, Becky. Questions?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I did look and see that it's been 3 years, and I did visit the property. It's in pretty deplorable condition, which is sad. It's really sad. How long has it been vacant? That whole time?
It was vacant for about, from what I heard, about 10 years before I got it. So, I guess the previous owner was an attorney who did like a reverse mortgage thing and walked away, and it was in, severe disrepair. So I've, at least had the repairs to stop rainwater from coming into it and just sealing it up, winterizing and locks and all of that. But it definitely, and it's a complete rehab. I mean, it's
So how many bedrooms are going to be in each unit? Can you give us that?
So there'll be 3 bedrooms in Unit 1, which is the lower unit. And then there'll be, I think, 3 bedrooms in Unit 2. If there is a lower office guest room that you could consider a bedroom if you wanted to. I don't think Matt intends to use it as such, but there is another space down there that could double as a bedroom. So there could be potentially 4 units in Matt's,
4 bedrooms?
4 bedrooms, yeah, sorry.
So 3 or 4?
3 in the lower, definitely, and I think you're only intending to have 3 bedrooms upstairs in
Yes,
the attic.
uh-huh.
And the
Right.
office/guest room is kind of an undefined space. It's downstairs.
Okay. It looks like a pretty aggressive renovation project.
Yeah,
Is there any reason why the building and the exterior and the grounds haven't been maintained?
It's just such an overwhelming project. I mean, to be honest with you, you know, I initially had thought that, well, I didn't anticipate, you know, COVID and a lot of other things happening that have really set me back in different ways. But aside from that, you know, it's from my dealings in, you know, real estate and everything with the zoning's a lot different in Danvers, and, you know, it's in an R2, but a lot of the neighbors and the houses around it are substantially more units. And I did anticipate probably being able to add more units to make it a little more feasible to do the scope of the work. And, you know, that's part of it, because this is a huge undertaking. And, you know, I was kind of seeing if things would get better with regard to, you know, when COVID happened and all this, the building costs and inflation and everything else has just gotten kind of crazy, you know? So it's kind of a culmination of all of those things, but it's been a little overwhelming to decide, you know, what direction to go in, because at this point you know, I've committed, so.
and if I could just add to that too, Matt reached out to us in the summertime. We did a feasibility study on seeing what the potential for this property is. We explored, you know, how to maximize it. We looked at if there was options to get more than 2 units out of it. Met with Georgia and Josh to look at a few different options there. So there was a feasibility study which kind of pushed it to this, you know, at least this last half of the year was planning.
Okay. Just 2 more questions. Where do you live, Matt?
In Salem, I work and live in Salem.
Okay. And my only other question would be a parking plan.
Yeah, so I don't know if you could show the first slide. You know, there's probably enough for 3 spaces here, but we're saying that this is kind of like the exclusive use area for unit 2 parking spaces there. And until the garage is rehabbed, there'll be 2 exterior parking spaces here. Once this is rehabbed, there'll be an additional 3 in there. And I think we're required to have 2 per.
All
Per
right.
unit.
I may want to come back to me, but I guess my only other question would be, have you gotten financing for this project?
That's a Matt question.
Yes, I mean, that was part of the thing that's been kind of, you know, with COVID and everything else, made it difficult. The situations in the world changed very quickly after I committed to this, you know, property. So, yes.
Okay. I have comments, but come back to me.
Thanks, Becky. Ken?
Thank you. Is this building classified historic?
No.
It is not in the historic
I
district.
couldn't tell because if there was a sign, I couldn't see it because of all the bushes. So.
Yeah, so it's not in the historic district, but given its age, it's subject to demo delay. But we're not proposing to do any demo, so.
Okay. That's all I have, thanks.
Thanks, Ken. And Ken?
I have no questions. Thanks.
Thank you. Karine?
So as far as your rehab of this house, all of the construction is going to take place in the house. There will be no additions to the property, correct?
Well, we're proposing an addition above the back area, so, you go to this side, yeah. So this is right now a one-story piece. It's, everything's got it right now, so there's really no finishes anywhere in the house. This is like a breezeway for a portion of the area. Can you actually go to the next slide? Yeah, so there's this, like mud room, and this is just a really big breezeway. The floor is actually sloped if you go inside there. It's a concrete floor that's got multiple levels to it. It was really just a connector to get to the garage. This is one-story piece, so we're looking to build out over that, to get him a little bit more living area on the second floor and some storage area. The basement, the current basement, is a dirt floor. It's low head height, and it's gonna be exclusively for the lower unit. So that's why we're looking to build it over here.
Okay, but you're not going out at all, you're,
Footprint stays the same.
okay,
Yep.
all right. Are you,
Actually, I'm sorry, the deck, if you could go to back, you can go back one. The only technical footprint change would be this deck.
okay,
But that's exterior.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, now, are you planning on converting this to like 2 condos? Or will this still be Matt as the owner and he lives upstairs and he has a renter downstairs? So is this a rental opportunity or will you convert it to condos?
So I think per the bylaw, this has to be a rental,
Okay,
and it has to be owner occupied.
okay,
There is some ambiguity towards like the term of things. So I had some of those questions that weren't able to be answered, but for the foreseeable future, we're intending to follow the guidelines of the bylaw.
okay.
Yep.
And then once the garage is completed, are you saying that 3 of the 4 spaces will be inside?
Yeah, so, this is gonna take quite a few resources to do, so I think we're trying to say right now that this is gonna be a pretty tough, and we just set it up for that. This building is, it has a mezzanine in it that a second. Sorry about that. This building actually has a mezzanine in that, John, my associate, and I didn't even want to go up into because we were afraid that we were going to fall through. So this needs some work, and it's going to take a good amount of resources. So the focus is the house for right now.
Okay,
When we convert that back over, there's space here for a 3-car garage that will be for Matt. This would then become the access to it. So any additional guest parking would come back in here. So we could have, some guest parking. People could park in front of the garage doors, but it would be like a tandem parking where anybody inside the garage, they would need to move.
okay, all right.
All set, Karine?
I'm all set, thank you.
Katie?
In terms of the exterior, is there a backyard? Is there yard space? Or is it?
It's a great question. Yeah, so there's actually quite a bit of backyard, but it's really overgrown now. So the yard,
Bill,
Bill, bring your
microphone,
mic.
Bill, sorry.
I'm not used to it. We need the headsets.
Yeah, I know.
It's a great question. I think that this portion of the yard was used as their backyard, their entertaining space. This is cleared out. It's overgrown, but it's cleared out. This is thickly vegetated. In between, there's another property back in here. From about half that property to about, I'd say half this property is really thickly vegetated, and it's got a hill too. So, be honest with you, until we get back in there and do a little clearing, we're not sure what this is going to be. But for right now, this is the play space, the outside space, for both the Unit 1 and Unit 2.
Yeah, and it's 3/4 of an acre lot, so it's probably about a soccer field size on the side of the house.
Okay, and I know that Becky already asked this question, but how many bedrooms then are in the
Three,
first unit?
three in the lower unit, which we're calling Unit 1. And the second unit, which is the upper unit, there's 3 bedrooms and 1 office/guest bed.
I guess I'm just thinking, you know, a 3-bedroom rental would likely, you know, go to a family, and I'm just thinking about yard space for kids, and just based on these pictures, I mean, it looks.
It's
so-
a huge lot, so yeah, it's 3/4 of an acre. It's about a soccer field size on the side of the house that's perfectly flat. The front, Bill probably knows the setback right offhand. I think there's like 45 feet or something in front. It's a massive lot.
Yeah,
And
there's a
big
45-foot front
property.
yard, and there's almost a 50-yard side yard, which is pretty open. So there is a lot of space to run around.
That was my only question.
Thanks, Katie. Yeah, Bill, I visited the site as well, and I want to touch upon what Becky started with. Mr. Keene, I can appreciate the fact that you know, things have changed through the pandemic. It's changed for everybody, but what's troubling to me is the landscaping state of this property.
Yeah, I mean, my biggest concern when I bought this property, it had been vacant for 10 years, and you know, I had to deal with preserving the structure first and foremost, and get a roof on it, which was a major ordeal.
Well, I
You
can
know,
appreciate that, but I guess let me ask my question. So can't something be done to somewhat address this? I mean, I can't imagine the neighbors are happy at all with the state of this property. And it doesn't
Yeah.
take a lot to cut grass and you know, make it a little bit clearer. I understand trying to stop leaks.
I will
and-
absolutely, you know, that will be one of the first things that I address. Like
Yeah,
I
but
said, it's
why,
just been
why
a little-
3 years into this? I mean, why haven't you addressed it is my question.
You know, like I said, it's a pretty overwhelming property, and it's, I mean, I've done, you know, cleared the sidewalks, cut the grass out there, trimmed those bushes. A lot of the other things, you know, you can't really see that much, but it's massive. I mean, it's just a lot of, it was in severe disrepair when I got it, and it's I've cleared everything out of, you couldn't even get down the driveway. You know, so I have spent time there. It's just a,
I think
You know,
one
it's a
one
big-
thing too to consider is that we weren't exactly sure what we were doing with the property, so it was already in a state of disrepair. The house itself was in a state of incompletion, and we were kind of studying what the potential for the project is. So whether we were going to propose a footprint, which there's plenty of room to do it. If this could have been a multifamily, 3 or more, that would have likely led to a footprint change. So we kind of had to study some of this stuff. So that again added some of the length on it. But I think we're hearing the board that we can get out there and do some maintenance to the.
Okay, that's good. Let me get to more of my kind of structural questions. So, the second unit, which I understand Mr. Keene will reside in, so the way this is going to be set up is his unit will be a portion of his unit will be above the first unit?
Most of the unit will be above the so working down the attic level or the third level, that's all Mr. Keene's, and that's
Okay.
pretty much a bedroom level with a small, you know, kind of living space, like a finished attic.
Okay.
They split the second floor. A portion of Unit 1 is underneath his living space, and conversely, a portion of the upper level is above there. They split this piece right here.
So it's a little bit of a zigzag
Yep.
type. Okay, I just wanted to make sure I understood it. And
Sure.
then, Mr. Nolan, also at the site visit, I noticed there's like this metal pipe on the left side. What is that all about?
I'm not
It
sure.
almost looks like a bollard, but it's large, and it's maybe Mr. Keene can talk about that.
Yeah, I've looked at that. I thought that it was maybe like a well that was sealed up or something.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
You
it
know
does
what
look like a
this
well.
is? It's not a vent or anything of that nature, is it?
Yeah, it looks like.
No,
Yeah, I don't know what it is. It looks like a well, though.
Okay.
I thought it was a well that was sealed up.
And then, again, I did pull onto the property. The parking concerns me a little bit. As Poplar Street being Route 62, obviously very difficult to get out of that property at the wrong time. I just don't see how, if you do have 4 cars and understanding the garage is down the road, how somebody gets turned around to kind of come out nose first on Poplar Street. So maybe you can talk about that.
Yeah, can you throw the parking plan back up?
Yeah, and once that bush, the vegetation is out of that's near the garage, it gives a lot more space, and as well as the vegetation on the right side of the driveway. I think it makes it a lot easier to turn around.
But what if a car is in that spot?
In what spot?
In the spot you're showing turning in?
Well,
These are exclusive uses for Unit 2, so these will be open.
basically, I mean, the positioning of where the cars are now makes it. I'm sorry, is he talking? I didn't realize Bill's talking.
That's okay. So these will be vacant while they're at work. They'll go in, they'll pull in. The hammerhead is here, and then we pull out. These guys, this will remain open because this is Matt's entrance, so that's the hammerhead for these.
I see, okay. And I did,
We'll probably give a little bit more.
well, that's what I think I was getting at here, or a circular driveway or something. I just know that
Yeah.
that street's difficult to get on. And so the breezeway is currently open, I noticed. And that's planning to stay open or getting closed?
No, it's gonna be enclosed. That's
It
gonna be
is,
their
okay.
entry. Yep.
And no living space at all in the garage?
No.
And it'd strictly be vehicles?
Yeah.
And storage, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and then I just want to go to Georgia to understand, because I'm a little, and again, just for, I think, the board's knowledge as well. So they're seeking a special permit, and we have a town requirement that forces basically owner-occupied and rental, where this unit can't be condoed. Do I have that right?
Yeah, so in the R2 zoning district, dwelling conversions require that one of the units is owner-occupied, and the non-owner-occupied unit is 40% of the total footprint. So there's a couple requirements on top of that, and in addition to the parking.
And is that an R2 only thing?
Yes,
or-
R1, for example, downtown, you could do a dwelling conversion up to 4 units and rent them out, whether the person lives there or not.
And R3,
R3, you can't do a
not
dwelling
allowed
conversion.
at all?
Yeah,
Even with special permit?
exactly. We
Can't
don't
be
offer
applied for, okay. All right, so board members, I just wanted to get that for myself, but hopefully that as well. And then, Bill, the last thing I had was, can anything be done about the exterior stairs to enclose them? I just don't think it's a great look. I know there's a cost associated with that, but what type of thought has been kicked around about the exterior stairs?
Which exterior stairs?
I thought I saw in your plans there was,
On the deck?
Calling it a deck.
oh, that's the deck
It's a deck,
stairs
yeah.
only?
Yeah, that's a deck. That's their,
So that's not easement to either unit?
if these are the ones you're talking about.
Yes.
The entrance to the building is in here. That's how they get up to their house. So this is the main entrance, and those are interior.
But are these egress stairs for the units in any way?
It's set, well, yeah, I mean, you can egress from the, yeah.
Okay.
Not, I don't think required, because you have 2 means of egress. from the-
Okay. Okay, that's all I had. Members, are there any other additional questions? Anybody?
Just
Yeah,
one.
go ahead, Corinne.
When do you anticipate you would start the project, and how long do you think it'll be from start to finish?
Go ahead, Matt.
Yeah, I mean, I intended to start day one, and I mean, I'm gonna start cleaning it up. Obviously, it makes it difficult that it's we're in December now. So as soon as possible, I mean, but I intend to get in and get this done immediately because I'm paying for it, you know, so it in every way, you know, incentivizes me to get this done and get in there. So I intend to do what I can during the winter, and then as soon as I can start it, you know, the actual, you know, the rest of it by the beginning of, you know, spring.
Do you have a contractor, who's under contract to start, or are you planning?
I mean, I have a,
John?
you know, a commercial building license, but this is a big project. I'm gonna be hiring, yes. I have several close contractor friends and family, and I'm gonna be, you know, getting a crews in here to get this going because it's gotta be done. I'm not gonna,
Okay,
you
well,
know.
I'm glad you're motivated. That's a good thing.
Yeah, I have to be because it's overwhelming. It's a big, you know. I love the house. I think it has so much potential. And
I
it's,
agree with you, Mr. Keenan. I do, you know, I don't want you to feel like we're beating you up on this, but there's a lot to take on for this board as well to make sure we're not having this continue to be a vacant property for another 10 years. But I'm not sure I heard an answer to Corinne's question. Do you have a kind of loose, not that we're going to hold you to it, but, you know, how long do you envision this taking?
Yeah, so beginning of spring is really when you know,
Start in the
It's-
spring and finish by the end of the year, or?
finish by, yeah, certainly by the end of the year, hopefully a lot sooner than that. Hopefully, you know, my plan would be by the end of the summer.
And then an additional question, are the taxes up to date on this property?
Yes, everything's up to date, yes.
Nothing's in arrear?
Right.
Okay. Any other additional questions from board members? Okay, and we have no public, unless, Phil, you'd like a closing comment before we deliberate? Or
No,
Mr. Keen?
I think everything was said.
Okay. Becky, we'll start down there with you.
Okay, so I would love to see this property improved. I mean, it's an eyesore, it's right in the center of town. But I'm really disappointed that you would come in front of us and ask for approval without taking some time and effort to at least clean up the exterior of the property. It's only a matter of getting a bunch of kids together or a crew together and cleaning it up. And so I'm very disappointed that the exterior hasn't been maintained. We talked about another property like this on Locust Street, and not to, you know, dwell on that, but it was another property that hadn't been maintained, and they came in here and asking us for more approvals to do more work, and that property is now years down the road, and it's still a mess. So I don't have confidence that this project is gonna get done.
I don't think you can hold us to somebody else's.
I'm
Oh,
project.
hold on,
I'm
Bill.
not-
So we're
I'm
deliberating.
not.
We're
I'm just
deliberating.
saying that, you know, historically, if somebody hasn't been maintaining at least the exterior of the property, sometimes the rest of it doesn't get done either. So that's just my opinion, and you do need 6 parking spaces. You need 6 parking spaces for a 3-bedroom. A 3-bedroom unit needs 3 spaces each. Each unit needs 2 parking spaces and then an additional parking space. So you really don't even have enough parking. So I guess at this point, I would be hesitant to go forward without some proof of financing that this, especially when you're expecting to add on to the building and not even just renovate what's there. So I'm a no at this point.
Thank you, Becky. Ken?
I'm a little on the fence. I mean, I think this building is big enough to support the 2 units. It is obviously a big building. I'll echo what Becky said about the cleanup of the lot. I know it would kind of make me mad if my lot looked like that. I guess I would vote for this.
Thank you, Ken. And Ken?
Yeah, so the concerns about the vegetation in the front, I mean, it's climbing up the house too. I mean, it is a little, disarray and stuff, but from what you showed, what it could be, from what it is now, it's certainly gonna be a lot better and a value add, I think, for the town, so, I'll vote for this. I mean, it's gonna be better, so.
Thank you, Ken. And Corinne?
I agree with Ken. I think the plans are beautiful. I think it's a lovely older home, and it's really too big for a single homeowner. And most of the other homes in the area are, multifamily, so, or two-family, so I would vote for this.
Thank you, Corinne. And Katie?
It really does seem like which I think you've acknowledged, a massive undertaking. And I think maybe to echo Becky's concerns is that it doesn't seem like there's a plan in place. It sounds like you're, looking to do much of the work on your own or relying on friends or family who have experience doing this. So I am concerned that the project might linger. So, I mean, I know you can't lock down plans without having the ability to move forward right away, but I think that would be a concern of mine. So I'm a bit on the fence as well.
You think you're a yes or a no?
I mean, ultimately, the property needs to be improved. So I suppose I would be a yes.
Okay, thank you, Katie. Bill, for all the reasons, and Mr. Keene, that you stated, I do, and I think my colleagues have echoed that, it's a large house, and it lends itself to this situation. And I'm glad that it's not more than 2 units, quite frankly, because I don't think you have the parking, and a lot of other things would arise if you tried to go more than 2 units. It definitely has, I believe it's a diamond in the rough, and it can be very nice. As you've heard from other board members, most applicants come in here with kind of their house a little more in order, for lack of better terms. And, Mr. Keene, I understand all the reasons you stated, but with that said, I just wish the property was in a better state. I could have felt a lot better about the motivation. I agree with what Katie said, that it doesn't seem like there's a real plan in here. However, I am going to vote for this because I do think Mr. Nolan, as a former ZBA member, knows that, this board's here to try to work with applicants and get things done. So you do have the votes to have it pass 4-1, because I am a yes. But I really do hope that starting tomorrow, snow, no snow, winter, no winter, that we're trying to do something to get that cleaned up and not wait for construction to start, and really, make us all feel good that this project is going in the right direction. So,
Loud and clear.
thank you. With that said, could I get a motion, please?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This board moves to issue the special permit in accordance with Section 30.2.d of the Danvers Zoning Bylaw to allow the conversion of a single-family dwelling into a two-family dwelling. The municipal water and sewer should not be overloaded by the additional dwelling unit. The public streets shall not become overloaded by the additional dwelling unit. The value of the other buildings and properties shall not be depreciated by the additional dwelling unit. The specific site is an appropriate location for the additional dwelling unit. The additional dwelling unit will not adversely affect the neighborhood. There will not be undue nuisance to vehicles or pedestrians, and adequate and proper facilities will be provided to ensure the proper operation of the proposed additional dwelling unit. The proposed additional dwelling unit will be in harmony with the general purpose of the bylaw.
I have a motion. Could I have a second, please?
Second.
And I've got a second by Ken. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Becky, 4-1, you pass. And Mr. Keen, good luck with the project. I drive by it daily, so I hope to see some great progress there.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
You're
You
welcome.
will.
Thank you, and congratulations, Becky.
Yep. And again, Becky, we'll,
Thank you.
Sign
Sorry
off
to
with
vote
your-
no on the last.
that's all right, that's all right. You just voted with your heart. And again, I know I echo the town staff and this board, and thank you for all your service to the town, and good luck with all the fun things you get to go do. And a motion to adjourn, please.
So moved.
And seconded.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Good night.
Danvers.